Radio. You're here with your hostess, Lauren Smith, and tonight I have a fan favorite on, Big Dog Mendoza. He has been around for a while now. He's been hunting the big guy since he was a little kid, or interested in the big guy since he was a little kid. And I think we got a lot to talk about tonight. You guys be sure to go ahead and like and subscribe now, and then go over to Big Dog's Random Show on whatever platform you're using to listen to this show and give it a like and subscribe there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. How you doing tonight, Big Dog?
Uh, I'm good. I was trying to clean my glasses so I can see. There we go.
Well, your mic's in front of you and your glasses are on, so I feel like
Oh, there
we're
we go.
starting.
Okay.
We're starting strong right now.
Heck yeah, I need a haircut. Oh, let me fix my light. I look all bleached.
You look white.
Oh, can y'all hear my mom? She's talking about her schedule. All
Yes.
right, there we go. I look brown like I'm supposed to.
Oh, look at that. We already got our first comment.
What's up,
That's
Matt?
Oh my gosh. All
Yeah,
right.
cool.
So, okay, I'm just gonna get started and quit reading the chat because I have a feeling if I do that, I won't get anything
Yeah,
done.
you gotta keep me in check because I'm everywhere.
That's okay. That's what I want tonight because
I'm
I've
special.
got two brain cells, so you're running the show. All right. What first got you started in this topic?
What got me started in the subject? I guess my fascination with monsters. I guess back in the day, I was a fan of Godzilla and all the things that little boys liked back then.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of what got me into it. Then I got into the libraries and I started seeing. Yeah, I used to read a long time ago. Seeing books about Bigfoot, UFOs, ghosts, and dinosaurs and all the stuff, and yeah, and it piqued my interest. And then I guess the thing with Bigfoot was thinking that the possibility of these things being real was like blew my mind. I was like, wow. So that's that's what got me going into this whole subject, and it just kind of never went away. I mean, even as I got older, I mean, yeah, you go through the boy life where you're into skateboarding and chicks and all that stuff, but I mean, it was always kind of the back of my head, uh, that Bigfoot could exist. I didn't really hear too much about the subject for a long time until I got older. Then that's when Facebook, I think it was 2011 ish when I got on because I was doing the MySpace thing, fixing up my profile and had
Same.
my little YouTube videos and whatnot.
Your song. What was your profile song?
It was probably gonna be something from Tool or something from Slayer or um, maybe Vanilla Ice or Run DMC. I'm all over the place. Still am today. My
Same.
playlist is crazy. But yeah. So when I got on, I started like friending a bunch of people and well, mostly relatives. Then that's when I met my cousin Lupe, and then I was kind of going through Facebook and I seen that he was posing next to like a footprint. It looked like a big footprint. And I started like commenting on it, and then he messaged me, and he just kind of was wanting to know what my interest was. I started asking a bunch of questions, getting all nerded out on it, and then he had asked me, if I would be interested in going to, go check out Bigfoot or go look for Bigfoot. And that's something, what's up, Logan? That's something I've always been wanting to do. I think I started seeing like those shows, like it's not, what's the one? There was stuff coming on TV and I'd check it out every now and then. Oh, heck, dang, I'm gonna lose
Around
my
around
crypto card.
2011. It was Finding Bigfoot, wasn't it?
No, it was the other one where they show different cryptids every week, and then they would show like a little animated version of it. And um,
I can't
dang,
remember either.
what's his name? Hyatt.
Oh, Doug Highcheck, the Monster Quest.
Monster Quest. Yeah, that.
Yeah, yeah.
Dang, sorry, dude. I, I've been fasting lately, so
Uh-huh.
all of my
Oh,
brain is fried. Trying to drop some pounds. But so yeah, I started watching that, and then when I got a chance to actually go do, I guess like an investigation, he kind of told me about, hey, what's up, Jeff? He kind of told me about what they do, and he knew some people and out in East Texas, and if I wanted to tag along, and I was like, sure, I go tag along with you guys, but I haven't been in the woods since you know my dad. He passed away when I was probably like 11ish, and he
hmm.
liked to go camping, so I was already probably in my 20s, and he um he invited me to go, and I was like, I didn't know what to wear. I didn't know, what a person that goes looking for Bigfoot is supposed to look like or supposed to wear or anything. So I went to the tactical army surplus store,
Hmm.
and I bought me some brand new army boots that cost the arm and a leg, and I bought some expensive army pants and some like a black. Everything was all black. I was wearing like a black. There's like those long sleeve shirts that you can sweat in and they cool you down because I knew it was gonna be
Yeah.
warm. Well, I thought I don't really go outside, um, so I had that and I think a black T-shirt and then a backpack full of dumb stuff, probably. Like I was like magnifying glass and just stuff. I didn't know. So
You went Inspector Gadget on this whole
yeah,
expedition.
I went crazy. I spent a lot of money on that day on my outfit because I had to look good, but I was looking all like a tactical Beverly Hills ninja. Remember Chris Farley? Not that I was big,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was a big chunky monkey. Um, uh, I was a chunky monkey dressed all in black with some brand new combat boots that were not even broke in yet. Yeah, that was a big mistake. Um, so yeah, we drove out there. Oh, I had I had my CHL. So back then I had carried two pistols, cowboy style, one on each
Hmm.
side. Thought I was big Billy badass tactical chunky ninja going into the woods. So we drive out there, and that's when we meet Brandon at a gas station, and there's this Ford Taurus that looks like it's been flipped over a couple times and drove like literally he drove it between trees and tore both fenders from the headlights all the way to the taillights. There was
Oh
no
my
mirrors.
god.
And I was like, this car pulls up and I'm like,
You're about
what's
to go off in the woods with these dudes.
yeah,
These
so this
crazy
dude
white
opens
dudes.
he opens the door and gets out and he's got this like crocodile Dundee hat on. He's got machetes on his belt and all kind of different knives and everything. And I was like, the first thing that popped in my head was, I was like, yo, I don't know if I want to be going into the woods with these people now. I feel a little nervous about this whole situation, but after a while, I got over it.
Yeah.
So we headed out and we parked on the side of the road and we started walking into the woods. And I remember like thinking, oh man, I got this. Bigfoot comes out, I'm just gonna punch him in the nuts, kick him in the nuts, whatever,
Uh-huh.
body slam him.
Yeah, that's why
I
you have
thought,
both guns. And
yeah, I thought I was, I'm gonna whip out both guns and just shoot up in the air like a bandito or something. So, I was thinking, I got this. And so we get to walking around. I think we walked around for a good 2 hours or so, and we found like a footprint.
Mm.
And I thought it was cool. I was like, oh man, there's a footprint. But it was just like one footprint. So it didn't really make sense to me. I mean, what do I know? I don't do this. And so I was happy with that. Hey, cool. I can go home. Saw print. Well, we get to walking some more, and my cousin is kind of leading us. We're all just following him, and he comes around like this little clearing, and he's got a camera around his neck, and he starts going. He goes, "There goes one right there." Yeah, so he's trying to turn on his camera. He's doing all this, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I don't know these guys. I think they're gonna try to mess with me. They're gonna play a joke on me because here I am all green, well black, but here I am. There, I don't know what's they're gonna play a joke on me. They're gonna try to scare me. But I was thinking this is kind of not a good idea because I'm armed. I know karate. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know karate. But I was thinking, it's probably a bad idea to jump scare me or whatever. And
Yeah.
so he's fumbling with his camera, and I'm thinking, oh, here we go. They're gonna try to scare me. So he starts running towards the bush that he saw this, and what he saw was when he came around, he saw this silhouette, like head and shoulders, and then it came straight down. Yeah, that's what I thought they were messing with me. I thought it was a joke. But he saw something like a head and shoulders kind of duck down behind this bush. And that's what he was trying to take a picture of. Well, cousin started running towards that bush, full speed. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, here we go. They're gonna try to scare me. So, and I start like looking around, like is somebody gonna come up behind me or whatever? Because it just doesn't seem, uh, legit.
Yeah.
Then as he's running towards that bush, I see this hand start coming out from the side of it. It was like a big old baseball glove hand. It was all black. And then first I saw the hand, and I'm like, what the? And then I started seeing the hair coming off of the forearm. It was probably about 3 to 4 inches long. And then I started seeing like the elbow, and then the arm was coming all the way out. And there was like a tree right next to the bush, and it kind of grabbed like that. It put its hand up right next to it, and then I remember hair was kind of coming down off of the arm, and it was
Yeah.
real shiny. I remember that. That sticks. I still think about it. Um, and it kind of stood up. I didn't see the face. I just seen it turn around, and it stood up, turn around, and it like ducked down. And then I just seen the trees kind of go like this, like it just took off and ran right through the bush. But the thing that didn't make any sense to me is how big it was and how fast it was. It didn't even make one sound, like no noise, zero sound. And that's why I just thought maybe because we're out doing this, I saw it because it's like a suggestive thought or whatever. I'm just like, yeah, I didn't. No, there's
Yeah.
no way. There's no way. I think my mind just kind of filled in this little blank or whatever.
Well,
And
other
then
people saw it, right?
right, right. Well, I haven't really talked to anybody at this point, so I'm just kind of
Okay.
sitting there like, oh, what the heck? And
Mhm.
this fear just came over me. So that big tough guy that was walking in the woods when we first got there, I have no idea where that guy was because that guy was gone. I was scared. I had this fear that just came over me. Like
Mhm.
I didn't want to move or whatever, but it took me a little while to get my composure because they're running around looking for prints, doing all this, and they're like, And finally, my cousin turned around and goes, looks at me, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, maybe he did, you know, maybe I didn't see it. Maybe he saw something else, and so I'll just ask him what color it was, and if he says anything other than black, then I'm good. I didn't see it. I imagined it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm good to go. So, and then he's like, "What's up, cuz?" And I was like, "What color? What color was that you saw?" And he's like, "Oh, it was black." And I was like, "Oh shoot." He goes, "Why?" And he goes, "Yeah, I think I saw it." And man, they all start high fiving each other and like all happy that I saw it, that they're, like kind of like validating. And I was like, yo, kind of like older brothers would be the first time the little
Yeah.
brother gets with a girl.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. They're all celebrating. Yeah, all right. I was like, ah, let's go.
No.
Let's go home, y'all. And they're like, wait, what? Uh, let's let's get out of here. I don't want to do this no more. I done. This is all I want. I don't want no more of this. So they're like, oh man, just chill, you know. And by this time, Brandon hasn't said a word to me until until this happened. And so they're like, they finally talked me into going to the other game cam to go because that's what they were doing. They were changing out batteries and SD cards. And they're like, look, we just got one more to go to, and then we'll leave. We'll just do the other ones another day. And I was like, oh, all right. So as we're walking along, Brandon's showing me pictures on it, stuff about Bigfoot or whatever. Oh yeah, well, I don't know anything about elephants. Uh, yeah, I'm sure they can. Yeah, so he starts showing me all this stuff on his phone about Bigfoot and all this and how they look and stuff like that and some pictures that he's taken or whatever. And I was like, hey man, I don't want to see that right now. I don't want to see none of that right now. I don't want to, I'm kind of done with this right now. Let's
Yeah.
just go get the other. Let's just go check the batteries in the other one, and let's just get let's get out of here. The sooner the better. Well, we get to walking some more, and I'm kind of paranoid about this time. I'm kind of doing this.
You're
And
sweating in that black.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, that's it. I started cooking. I was like, man, y'all smell fajitas? Oh man, that's me, Mexi melt. I was cooking. I mean, it was hot, and I had one of those little Camelbacks. That was one of the cool little things I bought where I had a little water, but I drank all the water already. I don't know why. I like the whole
You
time,
learn, you
and
learned your lesson.
yeah.
All right,
So
so you're paranoid. You're walking.
I'm
You're sweating.
paranoid. We're walking off, and we're going to this other spot. Well, they have everything marked. They have like a little markers so they know where they're going. But I think we kind of got lost because I could hear my cousin and Brandon kind of mumbling. You know how when your parents are
Mm.
mad at each other, but they're not trying to make a scene? Yeah, they were kind of like, what do you, I thought it was this way. I was like, what y'all
They're
guys
trying not
talking
to
about up
scare
there?
the big kid behind them.
Yeah, they're like, oh, nothing. We're just going this way. Well, it turned out we were a little bit lost, but not big time. But so we finally hit one of those what do you call those where they run the power lines through and it's like
Oh,
a
a high
opening.
line.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it had an opening, so they figured, hey, if we can get him to walk through there, he doesn't have to step over all these. Um, it'd probably be easier for him. And so we start walking down that way, and it was probably even worse because now the sun is just straight on me, just cooking me. But we finally make it to the other camera, and it was a long way from the other one where I had my sighting. It was a long way,
Yeah.
and So we finally get there, and I'm still. They're kind of laughing at me, making fun of me. I'm like, dude, just relax. It's gonna be all right. And I was like, oh man, this is crazy. I can't believe this thing's for real or whatever. I just want to go home and I just want to get out of here. I don't want to do this no more. So we
Yeah.
start heading back, and everybody's ex-military, and everybody's kind of like always in the woods. I'm the like worst one there. I'm so out of shape. I can't keep up with everybody.
Are your
Some
feet
people
falling off
start,
yet?
yeah, everybody's giving me their water. So I finally take off that. I had two shirts on. I had that one for sweating. So I took that one off and I just soaked it in water and I kind of put it over my head just to try to cool off. Well, you've got a
Mm-hmm.
black shirt over here trying to cool off, but it was soaking wet. And I got it over my head and everybody just starts leaving me. They're just cruising. And I'm trying to keep up with them. And they're just leaving me behind. And as I'm walking, I just keep thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start hearing on my left side, I hear like sticks breaking and something kind of shuffling through. And I was like, what? I didn't. Well, first I didn't want to look. I was like, oh, hell no, hell no. And I was like, nah, man, these things they're coming back. So I started walking, walking, and every like I take a couple steps, and then it would take a couple steps, and then um I was like, okay, I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look and see if I see anything there. So I slowly kind of look over, and I don't see nothing there. Nothing there. I'm like, all right, I'm just tripping. I'm just need to get out of here. Need to get home, back to civilization, get out these woods. I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea to do this. One of the worst ideas I've ever had. So we start walking some more, and I keep hearing it, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna. I noticed that every time I take a couple steps, it takes a couple steps, and when I stop, sometimes it'll stop either exactly when I stop, or it'll take a couple other steps, and so I stopped walking, and then I heard it take like two more extra steps, and I was like, hell no! I started doing that mall lady walk, the old lady walking the mall. You know what I'm talking about?
Trying to
All of
work
a
up a
sudden,
turd. Yeah.
all of a sudden, I got all this energy. I said, so every now and then the guys kind of look back, just check on me or whatever. This time I got a different look on my face, and I'm moving a little faster.
Yeah.
And I'm like, uh-oh, hold on, something might be wrong. So everybody kind of stops, and I finally catch up to him. I'm like, yo, man, I think there's something. It was walking on the side, and I I don't know what it was. And then they're like, oh, I think it was just paralleling you. I'm like, what do you mean?
It's not a big
Yeah, they
deal.
just kind of walk on the side of you. Did you see it? And I'm like, no, I don't know. They follow you? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, no, I want to get out of here. I need to know everything you know about Bigfoot. I need to know it all right now. And they're like, all right, look, just sit here, and whenever you feel rested up, just keep continuing down this you know pipeline or whatever. So I'm not staying here by myself. And they're like, no, we'll have somebody sit here with you. And that way, whenever you feel better or rested up, you can just keep on going. We're gonna go get the cars because they parked kind of far away, so they were gonna go run and get the car, and and then come back and meet me there at that clearing. So they left me there with somebody, and I was kind of like talking to them about what happened, and then they told me there's what happened to them, and I was like, oh sheesh. And then all of a sudden we got like this weird whistle from the right side now,
Yeah.
and homeboy jumped up, and he didn't look, he looked a little worried, and he's like, I think we need to go. And I was like, oh, okay, okay. So I started putting my boots back on. Like that's probably they're hard to put on, but that was the fastest I put them on. I put them on. I was like, oh man, we need to just go. And so now we're getting sounds coming from the right side and the left side,
Hmm.
and they're not being sneaky no more. Now they're making it obvious that they're stepping on branches, dragging their feet, doing all kinds of noises, and I don't want to look. I'm so scared. I don't want to look. I'm just looking forward, and the other guy's like, "Come on, man, we need to move." I'm like, "Bro, I ain't running. I can't run. If you know, I guess it's, I guess you're gonna have to just leave me. I'm gonna get eaten, or whatever they're gonna do." But the closer we got to the main road, they seemed to sort of back off. And man, I was so happy when I finally got to the main road that I just walked up on that hot street. You know how hot the road
Yeah.
is, like 200 degrees. I still got on my hands and knees and gave that road a kiss because man, I felt like I was probably not gonna make it. I felt like I was in the ocean with sharks. I mean,
Yeah.
I felt bad. I felt like, and the last thing I even thought about was those guns. They never really crossed my mind. From what I saw, I don't think I had anything for
Big
them.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, which yeah, that kind of changed my collections and guns where they just got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Do you still think you have something that could take out a Bigfoot?
Maybe close, yeah, but I would have to not be scared because that's another thing. You could have a missile launcher, and if you're too scared, you're not going to handle that thing correctly. You're going to end up blowing your own self up.
Yeah. Did anyone in your group, you included, think to hold up a camera, phone, anything while all that scary stuff was happening?
Um, I think well, everybody had cameras and everybody, but I don't think I think they're used to it or whatever.
Hmm.
But my cousin was trying to take a picture of what he
In the
saw.
beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
beginning. But they did take some pictures or whatever of the area. You know how like you just take a bunch of pictures and then you just check them out later or whatever. So
Yeah.
they were doing that kind of stuff.
Okay. I
Um,
was just wondering because usually, like, when you're being faced with something like that, your guns and your camera are just two things that you just don't think about. It's just
yeah,
you're having this surreal experience, you know?
yeah. I wasn't ready for that. I thought I was just gonna go in there and like, oh, cool, look, a tree structure. Wow. I
You
thought it was
know?
gonna be something like that. But yeah, I wasn't
No.
ready for that. I mean,
No.
too much on the first time. They didn't even break me in.
Yeah, that's what's crazy about your experience is that, there's so many people that go out there and they're gung ho, man. They want to go out there and have a sighting. They want to go have an experience. And you went out there like, let's see what happens. I got all this cool stuff. Let's go look for Bigfoot. And then you saw Bigfoot. That's
Yeah, it
your
was.
story is unique, but also hilarious. Not I'm sure that you had some trauma after that a little bit.
Yeah.
How long did it take you after that to get back in the woods?
So like after it happened, I just couldn't stop talking about it. Like even when I got back into like work and talking to normal people, the normies,
Yeah.
I had
Cities.
already converted over,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was. I mean, I would just tell random people about my experience. Some people didn't even ask, but I would just tell them. Um, I mean, the first person I told was my little sister. I put, they're real, they're real. Um, and she's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's crazy." Um, and then then we'd go out to eat or whatever, and they're like, "Can I take your order?" And I said, "Yeah, I saw a Bigfoot."
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was bad. My little sister was
Mortified.
yeah, she was like, "Oh, can you please stop talking about that?"
Oh my god.
And
That's
yeah, and then I was having nightmares. yeah. And then I mean, after a while, I learned I couldn't just talk about it to anybody, and and luckily that I did have people like my cousin and the people that was with us. Then I started meeting more people and meeting more people, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna add you to a Bigfoot group." And then I just made more and more friends, and um, I mean, I had a couple haters, but um, they were just online haters,
Yeah.
so they don't
Yeah.
matter.
They don't
Um,
matter.
but
So
yeah, so then I got heavily into it, and then um, that's when I did my first interview. I don't know if you remember that show, the Bigfoot. Is it Tonight Bigfoot or Bigfoot
uh,
Tonight?
Bigfoot Tonight. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was on that one.
Yeah. Those
The
were
whole
good
group
guys.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Uh, and then a couple, I think maybe a year later, then I started doing a podcast with Bob Garrett. They were doing, I think it was called Big Ticket Watch
Hmm.
back then.
I remember
And
that.
I was the
Yeah.
co-host for a while.
Yeah.
And then hey, it was doing pretty good for a while. And then
Yeah.
everything kind of just went crazy, and then they shut it down.
Yeah.
And then I did some stuff with Jeff, uh, Crypto Hulk. He did a couple podcasts. I was a
Jeff
co-host
used to
on
be
that.
a co-host on Night Callers too back in the day.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So 6 degrees of Bigfoot. Everybody knows
yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I was doing like a bunch of people were finally were asking me to be on a show. And first I thought I was gonna be all shy, but and then I remember I'm not really shy. And then
I would like to stop you right there. So the first time I got to actually talk to Big Dog, because I had met him briefly, at different campouts, and he was cool. He was always real nice, but kind of not really outspoken around me. Got to meet his cousin. Got to meet Trita. The first time actually had a conversation with Big Dog, I was in Michael Waldy's Squatch Suburban thing, and Big Dog and his woman wanted to go for a ride. And so I volunteered to drive them around. So Big Dog gets in the car, and I don't remember what you were talking about, but you were like, "Yeah, I learned that in prison." And straight
yeah,
face. And your woman's sitting there, she's looking at me, and she just kind of look out the window, and I was like, okay, cool. I was like, that thanks for sharing that. That's cool. I'm glad you utilized that outside of prison. That's cool. And I'm driving around, and then like I swear to God, 20 minutes later, you're like, yeah, but I ain't never been to prison, by the way. Like you had me going. So I'm picturing this hard face prison dude, that you were like portraying yourself to be for that full 20 minutes of my life. With the same person that was trucking it out of those woods after seeing a Bigfoot and like, y'all, let's get me out of here. I don't want to be here. And I'm just trying to reconcile those two images right now.
yeah. Well, I guess I'm that way with humans, but when you
Yeah.
see something
Yeah.
that could rip your arms off and beat you with them,
You don't joke
that
as much.
that tough act don't really.
I don't know. I think if a Bigfoot like got a hold of you, you would go to your death
Oh, I would,
spouting
I
off
would,
jokes.
I
You'd be
would.
like, I don't taste like fajitas. Put me down.
They're gonna find me dead with. Well, are we allowed to be bad on your show, or is this a good show?
Yeah, go ahead. It's fine.
They're gonna find me dead with a ball sack and something. I got some
DNA.
DNA proof.
You're gonna have DNA. Yeah, that's what I always say. I'm like, check under my nails, check down my throat because I'm gonna bite something. Like, just check,
Yeah,
because I'm gonna have DNA. I'm gonna do it.
yeah. I'm
Um,
definitely gonna do that.
there was a question up here about your encounter. Doug Miller wants to know: do you think you walked up on a Bigfoot, or do you think he was checking y'all out and he got busted?
I think probably. So we were being loud. We weren't really being sneaky.
Hmm.
We were laughing and questioning each other's sexuality and stuff like that.
As you do, looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we were not being quiet. So maybe Bigfoot was maybe chilling somewhere, by this tree, and then he's like, "What the heck is that noise?" And then he sees us, and then he's like, I gotta get out of here. So yeah, he could have been just chilling, and then here we come
Yeah.
tromping around and making a lot of noise.
I
But
always say that Bigfoot, they're the masters of distraction. So there could have been like 50 other Bigfoot behind you, and he was just distracting you from all the ones behind you getting away?
yeah, well, after a while, I believe he wasn't alone, because I mean, we got a whistle from the other side, and then they both started escorting us out.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, could be something like that. It could have been a couple of them.
So have you, Pyromedic wants to know, have you been back to the area?
Yes, I went back, and it was 7,000 degrees, and the air was so thin I couldn't even breathe. I mean, I know I'm fat and everything, and I can't breathe normally, but it was so bad. I remember just sitting down and on the ground and just going, "Oh man!" But we finally kind of made it, and it just looked different because I think it was probably a couple years later that we went back, but it was hot. I need to go in the winter, and winter hunting season's not going on.
That's the hard thing is like, winter is my favorite time to camp, research anything, but those danged old hunters in the woods, stealing all the Bigfoot food and getting in the way of my research.
Yeah, um, but I'm sure that a lot of them got stories, and a lot of them ignore, uh, or just don't even,
Most of the ones I talk
acknowledge
to
it.
are like, I've been hunting these woods my whole damn life. I ain't seen nothing. I ain't never, and
I
it's
got
like,
that. Yeah, I've got that so many times, and then when no one's around, they're like, "Hey, man, it was just one time."
uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Or
get
they're
that.
like, I'm like, were you looking? And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, you ain't seen one. I get that, but were you looking? Were you listening? Do you probably you've heard 50 things that were pretty weird, but you just didn't chalk it up to Bigfoot because your brain rationalizes as it's a duck, it's a fox, it's a squirrel, whatever. Like, yeah, you might have heard one, you might have even seen something, but you're not gonna, you're not gonna let yourself say, "Oh, yep, that's Bigfoot."
Yeah, and you gotta get, after a while, I started trying to educate myself. I mean, because I think that thing had that experience kind of had a bunch of different effects on me. One, I started falling in love with being out in the woods. Um, I mean, but it took a little while because after that happened, I was like, I ain't never going back. I'm staying out here in the city where I'm the king over here. In my hood, I ain't going back out there in somebody else's turf. And I was like, no. But I think a while, a little time later, they called me and asked me if I wanted to go back, and they were going to change the SD cards and the batteries again, and I was like, all right, I'll go. And then when they hung up the phone, I was like, what am I doing? I said, I don't know. I had anxiety as we were going back, and it just felt
I
weird. But
bet.
nothing happened the second time. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, we just being out there a lot. You start having experiences, different things start happening, and um, but yeah, it got me to go to different states, meet a bunch
Hmm.
of different people because I always
Yeah.
got the hey big dog. Whenever you come out there on this side of
Yeah.
the earth, come see me, and I started hanging out with people and going investigating or run around with them.
Yeah.
Mhm. That was always fun.
Yeah, meeting new people and investigating new areas, that's kind of my favorite thing is, I've been from the top tip of Washington all the way down to Alabama. And it's just I that's the funnest thing to me is going on an expedition and you have a reason to go to the wilderness of Alabama and go explore with a bunch of people and you know you get to meet a bunch of strangers off the internet and go hang out in the woods with them. So that's always fun.
Yeah,
Safe.
there's been a couple of times where I'm like, what the hell am I doing out here?
Uh-huh. Especially when someone pulls up in a beat up Ford Taurus and
That
Yeah.
was the first one. They said if we're gonna break them in, we gotta break them in right.
Yeah. No kidding. So, did you ever have any other experiences out in the woods that rattled you as bad as that time?
Mm, we had so we used to do this thing where we called it Bigfoot chicken.
Hmm.
That's where you just sit and you don't move, you don't do anything, and it gets dark, and you just sit there, and they will start coming in, because they want to know what the heck you're doing.
Hmm.
And there was this one time. This was right when I just got the Yeti. Um, I was sitting on the seat on the roof of the truck, and it was pretty high up. So um, we were doing that. Well, we had kind of started during the day, and we were all goofing off and clowning with each other. And um, this, so it started getting dark, and then after a while, you can start, the smells. You smell like the dirt being dug up, and then you start to smell like the wet dog smell, and or it could be a deer, and it could have been hogs tearing up the ground. But hogs, they make a lot of noise. But what rips branches off of trees? You start like, so it felt like this thing was gonna come in on us, and I was like, you win, chicken. I win. I lose.
See, I call
And
that camping. I call that
yeah,
camping. I go hike during the day and then go back and sit in camp and just wait. You
yeah,
know. Yeah.
yeah.
But
So
I like your way better. It sounds more proactive that I'm actually doing that
yeah, it,
instead of
it
just being bait.
sometimes you'll just sit there and nothing will happen. But there was one time something started coming. It started ripping branches off of the trees,
Hmm.
and I thought that I was ready and gonna be tough this time, but I was like, I'm
Do you
ready
ever
to.
do you ever chicken out and leave and then get home and kick yourself for leaving? Like just
Yeah, I
regret
did
it and be
that. That
like,
was the time, because I had a recorder out, and we were getting all kind of weird howls, but a lot of them was coyote and stuff. But some of it just sounded weird. Um, I'm not saying it was Bigfoot; it just didn't just sounded weird. But that was on the same night. But there's been other times where we camped out, and just I remember one time I was crashed out, and I was still new to this. Well,
mhm.
I don't consider myself as like an outdoors guy. So there was one time we were sleeping in camp, and I was in a tent, and then there was a cougar nearby, and it started screaming.
Nope.
Yeah, the guys were laughing at me how scared I was.
I'd be terrified.
Oh, I was. Yeah, I go, what the hell is that? You know, it's just a cougar. Man, that don't make it better.
Big cats are my top two fears. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big cats and meth heads, and hogs. So three.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Well, I mean,
No. No.
yeah. I was like, nah, I don't want to do no cougar.
No. No. Big cats are death from above. You don't know what's happening until it's on you. That's terrifying. Like Bigfoot could do that too, but I mean, I just kind of, you know, don't cats like
Yeah.
suffocate you? Don't they like bite your face and suffocate you?
Yeah,
You know,
they'll
or your
crush
throat.
down on your neck,
See, Bigfoot, they'll
crush
just
your.
kind of like slam you against a tree and you'll die, and just that's quicker to me. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard of stories about Bigfoot's hunting hogs or
Hmm.
whatever, and grab the feet and slam them against the trees.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
That's
scary.
terrifying because I think it was like I don't even remember, like 600-pound hog or something. Like, yeah, just no. Mm-mm. I just choose to believe that they're not going to do that to me. Or that they'll, like, I'll probably be taken out one day. A Bigfoot's going to trip over a root and land on my tent and crush me. And that's how you guys will know that I died. There'll be like fur in the tent poles, and you'll be like, that's how I'm going to go.
That crazy woman got squished.
I got squished by Sasquatch. I'm pretty sure there's a Sasquatch erotica book named that, but It's okay.
I just
So
thought, you know.
it's a thing. It's a thing, and they're very successful. Um, so you have a podcast of your own. You started your own podcast after being the co-host on several podcasts.
Yeah, I started the Big Dog Random Show is because I mean I was still getting a lot of stories, a lot of experiences, um, and luckily all them friends that I made doing this, a lot of them I interviewed, um, and got to hear their story, and it's been a awesome uh, journey to hear. And some of them I never knew their story, and some of them I
Yeah.
did, and then but yeah, but sometimes you have screw ups where you don't save files. That happened.
Yeah, I did this epic interview with Big Dog. Epic. Like it was chef's kiss. Epic. We talked about like Scooby Doo and Bigfoot, and like my mom making a movie about the Scooby Gang and Bigfoot. It was great. It was great.
Who would play her and who would play us, and
You know,
it was
it was great. I said
and
that
so
I said that Fluffy would play uh Big Dog, and that right there is why he accidentally deleted the show.
what? Yeah, I'm more funnier than him, but
I
anyway,
agree. I agree.
he's richer than me though. Um, yeah, it was, and then I did another one time, and then right when I was done, all the power went off in the house.
Oh man, you didn't get to save it.
It was weird. I did get to save it because what happened was I turned the computer back on, and then it said, "Would you like to save this file?" And I was like, "Yes."
Oh my god.
And it had two files, and I could only select one, so the other one could have been
Oh, I see how it is.
yours.
It's because I compared you to Fluffy.
But they weren't labeled. They just had
Hmm.
numbers and stuff. So I
Hmm.
didn't know. I was like, let me choose this number, and I clicked it,
Uh huh.
and I got the one that just
That's okay. I can
did.
recreate my awesomeness that I portrayed on your show.
Yeah,
Pretty
we
sure.
got to do it. We got to do it. Yeah, but yeah, hearing and it's not all just Bigfoot stuff.
No. Yeah.
There's I've had people that had experiences with ghosts, or and people that had experience with UFOs, and
Yep.
just different stuff. And some of them just like conversation. I just like talking to people.
Hmm.
I think the last one I had was a buddy of mine, Alan Ross. He lives up in Canada, and he's been running around looking for Bigfoot for a long time, and he had some crazy sightings out there. So it was good to hear his. So if you want to hear him, go to the Big Dog Random Show, and yeah,
The
that
magic
one.
of technology. Anywhere you find your favorite podcasts. And you can also join the Big Dog Random Show Facebook group.
Oh yeah, we got that too.
That is how you can
I
engage with Big Dog.
actually got a couple requests today for that.
Good. I have that.
So,
I've advertised that, so I'm going to take full credit. Uh,
cool. Thank you.
yeah.
I'll say thank you.
But so hold on. There was one more question here. What's your thoughts on some people wanting to kill one to prove they exist?
Uh, I mean, I'll tell you like this. I know they exist, so I'm not gonna try to kill one. Um, if I am armed, it's not to take one out. But I mean, if that's what they do to prove it, I mean, I think that's what's gonna have to take to prove it, unless they can catch one alive or whatever. Um, I guess you got to do what you got to do, but I mean, I don't think it'll have a big impact. I mean, look, they talked about the government opened up about UFOs and nobody even cared couple
Yeah.
days later, you know.
Yeah.
So I think if they said, "Hey, Bigfoot is real," everybody would be like buying Bigfoot stuff, and
Yeah.
then just commercialize it. We're gonna have Bigfoot Day or
They
something,
already do
and
that.
then
That's already a thing. Do you know
so
that? There's already a Bigfoot Day.
what day is that?
I don't remember, but it was recently. Someone posted on Facebook, "Oh, it's Bigfoot Day," and we have like the Bigfoot capital of Oklahoma now, and uh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
well, I didn't get the memo.
yeah. Me neither. It's okay. I didn't post anything. All right. One more question. What do you think is keeping this mystery from being solved?
Well, I guess that would be the what we were talking about earlier about the government not wanting to release, because I know they know. I mean,
Mhm. I
you
agree.
hear stuff about military. Um, the military knows about them. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
they have sightings and experiences on a lot of their you know where they train and everything. They see
Yeah.
them,
Yep.
and a lot of their bases they probably have them climbing the fence or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know about them. So
They know about them. I mean, there's no way that there's been this many sightings and no one's shot one and, you know, not called someone else about the body. Like there's just no way. I'm in the same camp. I think, this will be solved when the government lets it be solved. Solved.
yeah, I mean, you hear people shooting at them. I mean, a lot.
Yeah.
Not the average person has firepower
Yeah.
to take one down. I mean, a 9 millimeter is not gonna do nothing to it, but give it a sore.
Yeah.
You're like, ow,
Yeah.
something got me. This little copper.
A BB gun. A BB
Yeah,
gun
like a
against an
BB.
elephant or a
Yeah.
grizzly. Yeah. Yeah,
So
I have to agree. I think that I don't know, they're letting us all run around in the woods and try to find what we can find. And they're not gonna we're keeping ourselves busy. They're not too worried about us, I don't think.
yeah, we're just the crazy people that go around looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah, you know, you know. Is there anything else you want to add? Any other experiences that I didn't touch on that you want to bring up?
Well, there was one in New Mexico. Um, there was they have who Brenda Harris is.
I do.
Okay, she was having a like a conference, right? And I was the MC there,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
so it was good. And I was like in between, where I had someone up there already, and I was just kind of sitting in the audience or whatever. In the corner of my eye, I seen something running up a mesa. Yeah, and it didn't make sense what I saw, so I just kind of shrugged it off. You know how like Sonic the Hedgehog looks when he's spinning?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it looked like this thing's arms were doing like that, and it looked like it was kicking up
So
dirt,
quadruped
or
mode.
whatever.
Yeah.
Almost like a dune buggy trying to go up.
Yeah. It was rooster tailing.
Yeah, so I'm just like,
You saw a skinwalker.
whatever.
That's what you saw.
Yeah, something. I just like,
They,
weird.
they got them skinwalkers out there. I don't play with skinwalkers. Uh-uh.
Yeah, they don't talk about them. They don't, and they take it very serious. I was
Mm.
making some jokes about it and almost got my butt kicked. Yeah,
So,
I was like, well, I started saying, as long as they're not made out of Kevlar, I ain't worried about them. But
oh yeah, yeah. So what you saw was it? I mean, did you see arms and legs and that's it, or?
I just seen like arms and it was like real quick too, because I looked at it, glanced at it, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then I looked over at the just what I was doing already, and then probably about an hour later, I seen some people with these freaking binoculars. They were huge,
Mm-hmm.
big old binoculars. And I walk over to them and I was like, what are you guys looking at? And they're like, oh, about an hour ago, something ran up that mesa. And I
So
was like, what? And they're like, yeah, we saw something black run up that mesa. And I was like, let me see your. And I looked through the binoculars, and you can see where the ground was tore up all the way
oh
up.
man. So once again you
And
got
I was like,
validated on what you saw.
yeah. And I was like, man, I should have just stared at it. I don't know. It was like real quick, you
You
know.
should have
And I was
grabbed the
like,
mic.
dang,
Everybody turn around and look.
everybody look over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, but she has all kinds of crazy stuff going on in her property.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and we slept out there. I was sleeping with one eye, like
Yeah. Yeah. You sleep in that and some sage and some holy
yeah,
water
because
and
the next day I had to go to Houston. I was headed to Houston. Oh, I don't know. I was headed to Houston, so I was trying to get some sleep,
yeah.
and she had showed it. She's got a YouTube video where she shows. I don't know if she still has it up, but she had I think there was one where something was looking through the window. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
she would set up a video camera in the kitchen,
Yeah.
and it would be facing back, and you can see the backyard, and you can see stuff flying around, and you can see
No. Mm-mm.
yeah, there's one. They had a swimming pool in the back, like a above ground,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a Bigfoot actually like messing around in the water, like drinking it or messing with it. And but this is with the old cameras, the
Yeah.
VHS or whatever, so that
Yeah.
it's kind of grainy.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I don't want to see none of this. I'm sleeping out here tonight. And, um, but she made us some tacos before we left, and they were bomb. She made me like a tray for me just by myself.
That's good. They
So
didn't they
I
didn't have
had
any
mine.
peyote or anything in them and
Oh no, no. She just used taco seasoning.
oh, okay. All right. All right. Oh, okay then.
But the cool thing about the conference is that I got a ton of stories from people, and you know what? They weren't all Bigfoot. They were some crazy
Mhm.
stuff people talk about out there.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I mean, I remember when I first got into town, this dude comes over. We were supposed to meet some people at Pizza Hut. This guy comes over and he's big old dude and he looks all scary. And he's like, you know how when you have a stroke, your face is kind of like.
Mhm.
We had that going on, and I was like already spooked up. And he goes, "You're one of them guys who go around looking for Bigfoot, right?" I was like, "Yeah."
Maybe.
I need you to come out to my property. I got something you need to see. And I had been driving probably like 16 hours. And I was like, yo, can I at least get my pizza or something? You know, I'm trying to eat right now. You know, bro, I've been on the road.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, all right, hurry up. Okay. Man, them people took so long. I don't know if it's because we were in a hurry, but they took extra long
Yeah.
on my order. So we finally get my food and we drive out there. And I'm like, what's up? What's going on? He starts telling me, I got something jumping on the top of my trees and breaking on my branch. He's more mad about his branches getting broke than he is something jumping up on the trees. Because these branches are falling down and it's flattening the tops of these trees, right? And I'm thinking, Bigfoot jumping, I guess they can jump from tree to tree.
Yeah.
And so we start walking, the property, and we don't find any Bigfoot prints. What we find is some 8 foot, 8 inch round. They look like horse hooves,
Mhm.
but they're not horse hooves. We see a couple of those, and then he takes us to this spot by the fence. He goes, one was over here a couple of days ago, and there was 3 claw marks. And it looked, yeah, it was, and I was like, yeah, I don't know what we're dealing with here. And he starts saying, yeah. So what happened was, our kids were playing hide and go seek with the neighbors' kids out here, And I don't know if you ever been out to New Mexico, but when it's nighttime,
Hmm.
it's nighttime. It's dark. There's no light pollution, none of that. So you kind of have to walk around with a flashlight. So the kids are playing hide and seek with flashlights, and they one of the kids runs up to they think another kid.
Hmm.
They said it was probably like I don't know 5 feet or something. It was white, and the kid ran up to it, was gonna tag it or whatever. You're it or whatever, and he put the light on it, and it was white and furry, and then it stood up. But when it stood up, the legs were backwards, and it was like stumbling, kind of like it was drunk, and it fell over that fence like a drunk person would. And then when they ran over to go try to see what it was, there are farm animals on the other side of the fence, pigs, and
Yeah.
they all have them in one big area. They're not like separated or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, they didn't see it after it fell over the fence.
I'm over here trying to
And
get as far away from the screen as I can. Like, I don't know. Ugh.
yeah, so yeah, and I'm out there, and he's telling me all this, and I'm like, uh, I don't know what that
I
is,
don't know.
sir. And then his daughter starts saying, "Oh, we got a recording of it,"
Of course
and
they
they
do.
said that they said it had wings. Now, what they kind of described to me, it kind of sounded like the Jersey Devil.
Hmm. That's what I was thinking. Like that, or like a centaur, or something like a goat man, but like the claws that throws me in the wings, obviously. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So what they recorded was the dad works at night, so the family's there by themselves at night. So this thing was walking around the house, and she said she turned on her phone to record it, and it was like that. She said it was flapping its wings like this by the door, and
Absolutely
I could
not.
hear it on the phone. And they're kind of somebody's crying, they're upset.
Mm-mm.
And I tried to record it with my phone because they wouldn't give me a copy, so I was trying to be sneaky and hit my phone to record,
Yeah.
and I recorded it. And I was playing it through the Bluetooth speakers in my truck, so it would sound good or sound louder or whatever. So, and I had the recording, and I think I played it once, and then when I tried to find it again to show to somebody, it was gone.
Yeah, you
Like
probably played it and it was a mating call and that thing came and took your phone and
yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. Even if you listen to the podcast, um, Tales from the Res, and
hmm.
there's different stuff. Yeah, there's lots of stuff going on and I had a police lady. I can tell you one of her stories. She quit the police because she got a domestic violence call
Yeah.
or whatever. So she gets there, and they tell her to cover the back. Well, they're up in the front, she's in the back, and there's a street light not too far from where she's at. And she says, every now and this dog comes and gets under the light and and turns his head like that, and then turns around and walks off. And this was kind of far away, so she didn't get a good look. She knew it was a dog, right?
Yeah.
So every time it comes, it gets closer and goes, and then turns around and walks off. Then it comes back
Absolutely
and
not.
gets even closer and goes like this. Well, she looks at it with a flashlight, and it's not a dog face on it. It's a human face on the dog body.
Absolutely not.
She jumped in her car, drove all the way to the station, put her badge and the gun down, and quit that day or that time.
Absolutely not.
She's like, I'm done.
There's a glitch in the matrix. That's what I'm gonna go with
Yeah,
because the alternative freaks me out, and I don't.
yeah. She was actually upset when she told me the story, and I was trying to get more details, and she was shut down on me, and she didn't
Yeah.
want to talk about it, and she left. But she just felt like she had to get it off her chest and at least tell somebody who would believe her.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
maybe she just told a couple people and they just laughed at her or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, that's a crazy story.
That's
So
terrifying. Like I don't, Bigfoot, that gets pretty scary, and but I don't mess with all that other weird stuff. I've heard some weird noises in the woods and instantly I'm like, "Oh my god." I'm like, "That's a skinwalker. I'm done. I can't do this no more." And then it'll end up being like a screech owl or something, and I'll like calm myself back down. But
well,
nah.
I'll say like this. Skinwalkers, people are kind of like um get, they're getting the rake and the skinwalkers confused. The skinwalker is something completely different to what skinwalker is like a warlock or a
A
it's
human.
witchcraft.
Yeah.
It's demonic. So they don't stay stuck in that
Yeah.
form, and well, they can get stuck in that form. But I mean, usually if you see them or whatever, somebody had sent that to you.
Mhm.
So um, I think there's a lot of misconception of what they are. I mean, people get confused with the rake, and I mean, I've talked to people that have seen a rake, so I'm like, whoa, really?
There's
And
a lot of different things out there. There's, the skinwalkers, there's the rake, there's the Ishkatini, which is a Native American owl skinwalker thing. It basically like can remove its skin and it like throws it up and it's real gross. And then there's like the Bruja, which is kind of another bird woman uh
that's the La Chusa.
lechusa. Yeah. So
That's what we got here. My
yeah.
even my mom talks about them, and
Yeah.
they're kind of like they're kind of like skinwalkers type,
Mhm.
where you can send them to like if they she said back in the days when somebody's crops were doing good and the families were doing good and somebody was really jealous of them, they had to like uh sort of like do a sacrifice or something to get these to send the owl to those people to bring them to make all their harvests die, and then the people get sick and their life just basically falls apart, but you have to sacrifice something to make those
Mm.
people go through that. And she talks about that, and it's like, whoa.
It's
And
terrifying.
my mom's very religious, and you think
Yeah.
she wouldn't talk about something like that, but she does.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's terrifying because there's enough crappy people in the world that would do that. And it's like,
Yeah,
because I'd think about that and I'm like, oh, I would never wish harm on other people. Like, karma will get them, it's fine. But no, no, voodoo, anything like that, I'm like,
yeah. I mean, it's still around. It's just taking different forms.
hmm
People being jealous, or what Mexicans call giving ojo, when you're jealous of someone and
yeah,
you really want it, and you kind of curse them.
yeah.
I mean, um, but I've also heard La Llorona
hmm
one time.
You had a
Um,
story or you heard it yourself?
I heard it myself.
Oh, no,
I was
absolutely not.
I was
Big dog,
actually
no.
I was at the Brazos River.
Yeah,
A friend of mine lived close to it, and you could go to his back door and then the backyard, and then go down into the river. Well, his family was like very generous. They always let people live with them that were homeless or whatever, so you could go to their house and you would see different people there.
yeah.
It was weird. So one day my friend was like, "Hey, we were all kind of just hanging out by the river, drinking a couple beers. You want to come?" And I was like, "Sure, I like beer." So we go over there, and of course I get there and they have Bush beer, so it wasn't really much beer. So
Keystone.
we're just, I'm chugging as much as I can, as fast as I can, so I can at least get like, some kind of buzz.
Uh-huh.
But before all that happened, in the background, I kept hearing, some screaming, like a woman screaming. And I'm like, I kind of look at the other guys and nobody's even acknowledging it. They're all just talking and laughing, and it starts getting closer and closer and closer. And I'm like, okay, y'all don't hear that? And they're like, oh yeah, that's just like Yorona. Just leave her alone, and she won't mess with you.
No.
Yeah. So I was like, I think I'm gonna head out
How many
and see my buddies.
times in one man's life can you find yourself in a situation with something absolutely crazy out of this world shouldn't exist, and the people around you are like, "Oh no, no, it's cool, it's cool,
Yeah, don't worry about
that
it.
ain't a big deal."
You're good.
Like, Big Dog. I mean, maybe you should take a look at the people you surround yourself with,
Right,
present
right.
company excluded. But you know, I'm just saying, like, uh, this, it seems like a trend.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff, but
I feel like I'm gonna have to have a part two because I don't even think we've touched really on the paranormal stuff. Like I know there's more.
yeah, it's been a crazy Vita.
We're gonna have to have a part two. That's all there is to it. Maybe get
And then
your
I gotta have a part one.
yeah. We have to redo my thing because it's,
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for coming on tonight. It has been a phenomenal show. Well worth the wait because I think I've been trying to get you on since August and it's been like, you know, you know how it goes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your experiences and your stories, answering questions from my amazing chat. And we'll definitely have to have a part two. Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on. Everyone else, thank you. I am probably not going to have another show until the new year. Gonna try to can't even say it. I'm gonna try to enjoy the holidays and stuff this year. With enough stuff going on in the world, I see family is really important. Not that you guys aren't my family, but I'm gonna go try to enjoy the holidays with them. So stay safe,